Good morning. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Today we're going to do a follow-along practice, approximately 90 minutes. It's going to be a blending of the Tesar Ngondro or actually a reconciling of the Tesar Ngondro with the instructions of Karma Jigme. Let's jump in. I'm going to go into screen sharing mode, and all my students who are participating live are going to mute their microphones because they're awesome that way. And I'm going to make this image just as big as I can so the folks at home can read it okay. This is the Manipar Tesar Ngondro Plus, according to the instructions of both Karma Jigme Patru Rinpoche and Dudjom Rinpoche. Let us begin by calling the Lama from afar. This is a great way to begin a Togal practice. Hands in the prayer position. We're not flat, we're cupping the bad boys. We're going to use the triplet chant. Synthesis of all mind. Lamas Amitabha rest on the lotus and moon disk on the crown of my head. Care for me with your great kindness and grant, I pray, the cities have enlightened from speech and mind. And we're going to practice a bit of the old Lam Rim. Look and chant. Mantra Lama, infallible, constant protector who knows all things. It is extremely difficult to find such freedom and opportunities as we have. Being impermanent, everyone who is born will die. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The three realms we experience as some sort are a notion of suffering. Remembering this made my mind turn toward Dharma. Now we come to the first set of daily electives. All right, let's grab a mala. And please count your mala using your left index finger, which is standard for Togal practice. Now, on the in-breath, we're going to ask the rhetorical question, how relax into the awareness of this? We're just reading on the in-breath, and the out-breath, we're both reciting while whispering and relaxing. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. If you practice for an hour every morning, an hour every evening, that means over the course of a year, you will have recited each of these 6 electives more than 3,000 times each. What's the benefit of that? As you go through your life, these contemplations could just pop into your mind just when you need them the most. I slurred that. The phrase was, just when you need them the most. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. It's a mistake to race through this at Mach 2 with your hair on fire. This is not a sprint, it is a leisurely stroll. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. Noticing and relaxing is the path to nirvana. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. These are not affirmations. These are tools to help us relax our way to nirvana. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. The results of our virtuous and harmful actions are inevitable. Okay, we now scroll down. Great, here we go. You'll notice to the right a whole bunch of parentheses. What that means is we don't do 28 repetitions of refuge and then 28 repetitions of bodhicitta. No, no, no. We're going to do them serially. So we do one repetition of refuge, followed immediately by repetition of bodhicitta, and then we repeat it. Memorizing it this way will support your bowing practice in the future, because after generating all this energy, it's good to end your practice by bowing, to articulate all those joints and prevent any energetic congestions. Let's begin chanting with the bookend chant. From now until, oh, by the way, we're still counting with our left index finger. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. That's right. The Lankanvantara Sutra teaches every living being has each taken a turn being our kind mother from the past. Therefore, please do not cannibalize your previous mothers by eating animals. We're now going to perform the mandala offering. If there's any questions, write them below in the comment area below this video. So I'm going to begin by untying the 3 knots of my mandala kit. Untie the first knot while we're saying appearing yet void. Untie the second knot while reciting resounding yet void. And I untie the third knot while reciting lucid yet void. I now unwind my mandala kit, which is just a piece of cloth about 4 feet by 4 feet. In the center, I have a pile of bird seed and a reusable plastic box. That's excellent for taking your mandala kit on an airplane. The lid is also excellent to use as a mandala plate. You don't have to spend tons of money buying expensive dharma supplies. Yes, I think mine is by Ziploc. This is definitely not an expensive gold or silver mandala kit. Trying to find what I did with my mala. Okay. Let us count our mala on our left ring finger, and we're going to hold our mala at the level of our navel, our belly button. Begin with the bookend chant. To perfect the 2 accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives to the 3 jewels. To perfect the 2 accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives to the 3 jewels. This is the simple mandala offering endorsed by Dudjom Rinpoche. To perfect the 2 accumulations, I offer the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives to the 3 jewels. Offering helps us gather good karma. Watching the impermanence of the offering as we pour it out helps us to develop the collection of wisdom, realizing impermanence. To perfect the 2 accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor of all my lives to the 3 jewels. perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor over my lives to the three jewels. Offering at the level of the navel helps to increase your sense of tranquility. To perfect the two accumulations of the splendor over my lives to the three jewels. To perfect the two accumulations of my life. To perfect the two accumulations of my life. To perfect the two accumulations of splendor of my lives. To perfect the two accumulations of splendor of my lives. To perfect the two accumulations of splendor of my life. To perfect the two accumulations of everybody's wealth and splendor. To perfect the two accumulations of my life. To perfect the two accumulations of splendor of my life. To perfect the two accumulations of splendor of my life. To perfect the two accumulations of the body's wealth and splendor of my life. To perfect the two accumulations of splendor of my life. To perfect the two accumulations of my life. To perfect the two accumulations of my splendor of my life. Perfect the two accumulations of my lives. That completes our 28 repetitions, also known as a quarter mala. If you don't own a Tibetan mala, you can get one rather inexpensively on the website following the links below the video. Below the video is a button that reads Show More. Simply click that bad boy and you'll be taken to the page where you can acquire a mala. So gingerly grab the left corner, far left corner, and close left corner of your mandala cloth. And allow the bird seed to make their way to the center. Grab the far right corner and close left corner of your mandala cloth. And again, gingerly coax the birdseed back to the center through the cunning use of gravity. We now begin twirling the corners. And you can find a piece of cloth in a fabric store or a hobby store. It's pretty nominal. In Tibet, the tantric yogis own very few possessions, and their mandala kits are often quite humble and utilitarian. We now create 3 knots, carrying yet void, resounding yet void, lucid yet void. And now I return, my face filling the screen like some monster come to destroy Tokyo. We now turn our attention to karmic purification. We're going to use the Lama prayers of confession. This week we're going to use confession elective B. B, part 1 of 2. I see that samsara is suffering but crave it still. I fear the abyss of the lower realms will continue to do wrong. Bless me and those who have gone astray like me, that we may sincerely renounce the things of this life. I know all the details of karma, but I do not really believe in it. I have heard a lot of dharma, but never put it into practice. Bless me and evildoers like me, that our minds may mingle with the Dharma. So now, let's continue to jump ahead past all these electives to the karmic purification recitation. Amitabha, inseparable from my Lama, is above the crown of my head. Nectar flows from him, purify my obscurations, O Mani Padme Hum. There are many ways to purify our karmic negativities, but Karma Jigme taught there is no method more profound or effective than the 6-syllable mantra. So we're going to recite these 6 lines during our in-breath. So this is going to stretch your lung capacity. We're going to count with our left middle finger, which helps not only purify our karma, but train us in the path of triksha, or cutting through. On the in-breath, we silently and mentally read, how could I relax as all my negativities, obscurations, and their causes are not transformed into sooty liquid, depart through my lower doors, and are inertly absorbed by the earth, where they are eagerly devoured by Yama, Yama, the personification of death's karmic retribution, as delicious snacks. And a little bit in the parentheses, you can skip that. So this is really fun, this is deep, this is a fun way to play with the archetypes of tantric mythology in a way that really speaks to us emotionally. You'll notice the word relax is bold. That's to remind us that as we recite Om Mani Padme Hum, we visually focus on the word relax and do so to the best of our ability. Let's do this for 3 breaths. Your lower doors would be the parts of your body where your urine leaves, your menses leave, and your bowel movements or your feces leave. In other words, your crotch and your tush. Delicious snacks is English for the Yiddish word nosh or nosherai. And this is a delightful way to play with our fears, as if we're frightened Satan's going to come drag us to hell. And inside we say, hey, Satan, you could drag me to hell, but wouldn't you like a delicious sandwich made of my own sin? He says, yes, I would. Thank you very much. That's delicious. I'll be leaving you now. Bye-bye. You gotta love the sense of humor of the great Buddhist saints who came before us. Dissolving into light, Amitabha blends with me an experience of oneness. In a flash, I am transformed into a student Shinrizik comprised of white lights. I have one face, 4 arms, and sit in the Vajra posture. Heart 3 is encircled by the mantra rosary. That'll make more sense in just a second, but first, an artistic interlude. What we see on my desktop is a white figure. That would be Shinrizig, the Buddha of compassion. Above his head is his, oopsie. Let's wait for that thing to go away. Above his head is his teacher, Amitabha. Lama says, if you're going to visualize yourself as a Buddha, then visualize your teacher as a Buddha as well. Let's continue. Let's see, last week we did elective A. This week, let's do elective B. How could I relax into the appearing yet void nature of my form? Next exercise. How could I relax into the resounding yet void nature of my voice? How could I relax into the lucid yet void nature of my mind? According to Patrur Kuche, such contemplations are infinitely more productive than just striving and straining to visualize. How relax into the awareness of this dazzling, like that's a new word, dazzling heart free. Free is a syllable. And we can imagine it setting at the center of our heart chakra, and it's comprised of white shining letters. But our job is not to visualize it perfectly. Our job is just to read on the in-breath and relax during the recitation. How relax into the awareness of the dazzling heart free, encircled by the mantra rosary. That's right, Om Mani Padme Hum forms a circle around the syllable, just like kids singing Ring Around the Rosie. How relax into the awareness of the mantra rosary orbiting clockwise around heart free. Once again, you don't gotta visualize perfectly. Simply breathe and read, and then relax as you recite. How relax into the awareness of heart's mantra rosary, emitting white devotion rays to every Buddha and Bodhisattva in every direction. People ask, how was your meditation session? The answer should be, truthfully, relaxing. If it's not, you ain't doing it right. How relax into the awareness of every Buddha and Bodhisattva in every direction, manifesting in the aspect of four-armed Chinrazig, just like us. How relax into the awareness of every Buddha and Bodhisattva in the aspect of four-armed Chinrazig, dissolving into me like gently falling rain. Now we turn our attention to the first, or I should say, the second elective for the body mandala, which really helps us in our low rig training, as described by Patrul Rinpoche in The Heart Treasure of the Enlightened Ones. How we relax into the awareness of this poison of hate and how it could be non-dual with Akshobhya's Amara-like wisdom in their void nature. The key here is simply the same. Respirate and read, and then recite while relaxing. How relax into the awareness of this poison of greed that could be non-dual with Amitabha's discriminating wisdom in their void nature. How do we cultivate discriminating wisdom? Simple. First we notice our greed, and then we relax into our awareness. And that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. How relax into the awareness of this poison of confusion that could be non-dual with Vairochana's wisdom of the absolute expanse in their void nature. How do we realize the void nature of anything, being, or phenomena that happens to cross our sphere of awareness? We notice it and we relax. It's just that simple. How relax into the awareness of this poison of jealousy that could be non-dual with Thamagosiddhi's all-accomplishing wisdom in their void nature. How relax into the awareness of this poison of pride that could be non-dual with Ratnasambhava's equalizing wisdom in their void nature. Notice this exercise does not condemn our pride. We merely notice it and relax, and everything takes care of itself. And that concludes elective B. That was short but sweet, eh? Okay, so let's jump forward in the text. Let's pass through the remaining electives and continue with Jigme's creation and completion part 2. How relax into the awareness of this. That's right, kids, it's free skate. How relax into the awareness of heart's mantra rosary emitting white compassion rays to purify every misdeed and every obscuration of every being in the 6 realms of samsara. How relax into the awareness of every being transforming into the great compassionate one and humming with the tones of the 6 syllables. How relax into the awareness of this universe transforming into Amitabha's realm of great joy. Now we're going to perform a silent meditation for approximately 3 breaths. On the in-breath, we silently and mentally read Take all bad karma as no smoke. On the out breath, we silently mentally read, give transformation as pour light. Of course, we do this while relaxing. How relax into the awareness of this. How relax into the awareness of this dazzling heart free. Remember, the key is just respirate and read, recite and relax. We're going to do this for about 3 breaths. We're going to, on the in-breath, we're going to ask or read the rhetorical question. Don't answer the question. It's enough just to simply read it as you respirate. On the out-breath, we're going to relax. We're going to read the word relaxing as we do our best to relax. We're going to do the one-syllable version of that now. Free void. What does it mean to relax into the void? We'll explore that in a few more minutes. How relax into the awareness of this. Well, that's 3 mala of the 6-syllable mantra. You do this every morning and every evening, and that's more than 700,000 a year. What notice? Relaxing. This void. And I misspoke. It's not 700,000 a year. It's 700,000 every 3 years. Whoopsie. I am Avalokit, Deshvara in the sky in front of me. My root Lama appears in the form of Amitabha. Avalokiteshvara is Chenrezig, both of the Buddha of compassion. Avalokiteshvara is the name in Sanskrit. Chenrezig is the name in Tibetan. We're going to continue counting our mala on our right middle finger. This is excellent for Trekcho, slicing through our delusions. And in breath we ask, how relax into the awareness of Guru gratitude. We're going to use the bookend chant. On the northwest border of the country of origin, in the ballad heart of the lotus, you attain marvelous most excellency, renowned as the lotus born. You also surrounded by a circle of many sky dancers as I practice following in your footsteps. I pray that you will virtue confer your blessings, Guru Padmasati. On the northwest border of the country of origin, in the land of the lotus, you attain marvelous most excellency, renowned as the lotus born. You are surrounded by a circle of many sky dancers as I practice following in your footsteps. I pray that you will virtue confer your blessings, Guru Padmasati. Hung on the northwest border of the country of origin, in the mala node of the lotus, you attain marvelous most excellency, renowned as the lotus born. You are surrounded by a circle of many sky dancers as I practice following in your footsteps. I pray that you will virtue confer your blessings, Guru Padmasati. And now, for the next 25 repetitions, we whisper. Circle many sky dancers and practice filling in Christmas and great approach conferring blessings, Guru Padmasati. On the northwest part of the country of Arjun, while the heart of the lotus, who did marvelous excellence, renowned as the lotus plant surrounded by a circle, many sky dancers and practice flying physics and great approach conferring blessings, Guru Padmasati. On the northwest part of the country of Arjun, while the heart of the lotus, who did marvelous excellence, renowned as the lotus, you are surrounded by a circle, many sky dancers as a practice flying physics and great approach conferring blessings, Guru Padmasati. On the northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the lotus, who did marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a circle of many sky dancers as a practice following them, separating the approach conferring blessings with the Padmasati. On the northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the lotus, who did marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a circle of many sky dancers as a practice following them, separating the approach conferring blessings with the Padmasati. On the northwest border of the country of Arjun, the heart of the lotus, who did marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a circle of many sky dancers and practice following in efficient separate the approach conferring blessings, Guru Padmasati. On the northwest border of the country of Arjun, the heart of the lotus, who did marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a circle of many sky dancers and practice following in efficient separate the approach conferring blessings, Guru Padmasati. On the northwest border of the country of origin, the heart of the lotus, who did marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a circle of many sky dancers and practice following in efficient separate the approach conferring blessings, Guru Padmasati. On the northwest border of the country of origin, the heart of the lotus, who did marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the lotus born, surrounded by a circle of many sky dancers and practice following in efficient separate the approach conferring blessings, city, but now this one is run by circle minus sky dancers. The practice for long and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. The northwest border of the country of origin, the ball heart of the lotus, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the lotus border is run by circle minus sky dancers. The practice for long and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. The northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, pronounced the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. The northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, pronounced as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. The northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers and practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. Northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. The northwest part of the country of origin, the heart of the letters, your ten marvelous most excellent city, renowned as the letters born is run by circle many sky dancers practice following and invisible separate the virtue and very blessings for Lama city. All right. Now let's do a bit of the old chanting. Embodiment of all Buddhas of the three times most excellent Lama, I pray to you. Hold me with your compassion in this and future lives and in the bardo. Bless me always throughout the three times Amahum Vajara Guru Banmaziri Hum. The fundamentalism of futility says first you chant, then you meditate. But in the liberation provided to us by the liberal teachings, we combine both recitation and meditation into one very efficient unit. During this point, we have four recitations of the mantra Vajra Guru Kaya Waka Sita Siddhi Hun. During the first recitation, you place the center of your right palm on your forehead. During the second recitation, upon your throat. During the third recitation, upon your heart. During the fourth recitation, upon your navel. Or you can follow along with me as best you can. I'm not sure my camera's going to allow from great perspective. Sorry, guys. Do the best I can. I receive all the blessings and empowerments of enlightened forms, speech, and mind. Vajra Guru Kaya Wakatsita Siddhi Hum. 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 The last place we placed our hand was over our navel. That's where we do Tumo meditation, and that's what we're going to do very shortly. The Lama dissolves into light and blends with me on all inseparability. I behold the true face of the ultimate Lama, the union of spontaneous awareness, unwinding and vast openness. Count Mala with left ring finger in order to access Tumo's inner fire, the navel throne of Bija Ah. If you don't have a Mala, simply touch your right ring finger, your left ring finger to its thumb. So, wear red Ah, relaxing. These are rhetorical questions. Don't work too hard. Ah, void. And now we're going to go to our workhorse. How relax into the awareness of this. So whatever you're feeling, whether it's self-pity or anger or sadness or fear, whatever you're feeling, pleasurable or painful, glorious or grotesque, physical or emotional, intellectual or circumstantial. We'll begin with a bit of the chanting. Om Ma Hung Vajra Guru Banma Siddhi Hung. Om Ma Hung Vajra Guru Banma Siddhi Hung. Om Ma Hung Vajra Guru Banma Siddhi Hung. And continue with whispering. If you do not know how to recite the 6-syllable mantra or the 12-syllable mantra, just request a meditation, a video where I teach you how to chant it. in the commentary below. Remember, during the respiration, we read. During the whispered recitation, we relax. Read and relax on your way to nirvana. Oopsie, my mistake. Let's try that again. What notice? Relaxing. This void. Now it's time for a bit of the old toggle. Let's do elective B. There we go. We're going to pretend that the idea, the myth of the ghost realm is a metaphor for the sufferings we generate for ourselves by indulging our greedy impulses. We all feel greed. Question not of whether we're aware of them, but whether we indulge them or transcend them. At the top we read, count mala with left index finger to access Togal's leap over. Now, if you don't have a mala, just touch your left index finger to your thumb. Don't do anything with the fingers of your right hand. Begin with ourself. Soothe my hungry greed. It has been said in Tibet, the greed is like a hungry dog. It is never satisfied. Above we read, compassion, the staircase of interdependence. Below that we read, behold the alchemy that transforms selfish aversion into universal compassion. So we began by focusing on the word my, for it was bold. That's your hint. If it's bold, you focus on it. Now we focus upon our neighbors. Take each neighbor's hungry greed as no smoke. That's right, we're pretending we are great celestial vacuum cleaners. Take each earthling's hungry greed as knows smoke. Now we're going to perform the silent version. Take all greed from each being as no smoke, and on the out-breath give generosity as pour light. For truly, generosity is the opposite of greed. And now, as promised, we're going to explain what it means. So we're going to demonstrate by way of metaphor what it means or what it can be like to relax into voidness. Insight's staircase of impermanence, come let us unwind into the vast expanse of infinite openness. How could each world and its beings blissfully melt into earth, leaving a wake of white, non-graspable openness? And of course, as you whisper the 12-syllable mantra, imagine the word earth in an infinite white expanse of non-graspable openness. How could earth and its beings blissfully melt into this neighborhood, your neighborhood, where you live, where you're at this moment, leaving a wake of whites, non-graspable openness. Just remember the construct in the Matrix. That's a fun video to rent or watch online. And in Tibetan metaphysics, or many forms of Tibetan metaphysics, Buddhist metaphysics, we view the seat of the body as being the top of the head. How could this neighborhood and its beings blissfully melt into this body, leaving a wake of white, non-graspable openness, just like the construct in the Matrix? How could this body blissfully melt into white's non-graspable openness? Now we focus on the word openness. Now, when we use the word void, you don't have to visualize the construct from the matrix. Just relax. That'll do. Count Mala with left index finger to access Togal's leap over the crown throne of Bija Hum. Where white hum, relaxing. Hum, void. How relax into the awareness of this. Whatever comes to mind, pleasurable, painful, glorious, or grotesque. And that is our second mala of the 12-syllable mantra. What note is relaxing? This void. The void nature of any thing, being, or phenomena is as close as relaxing while during your next out breath. Trek show, elective B, love staircase of interdependence. Come, behold the alchemy that transforms selfish greed into universal love. It's the opposite of greed, it's generosity. Now, we might want to be generous, but we can be greedy for generosity, which of course is just weird. Just ironic, isn't it? Count the left mala, count mala with left middle finger. That's the finger you use to express yourself so eloquently on the freeway. The axis trick showed slice through the heart throne of Bija. Perfection of generosity for moi. Give perfection of generosity as pour light to each neighbor. Just as Chenrezig has 6 garments, a skirt, a belt, a shawl, a scarf. Whoops, those are the garments. I should have said the ornaments. Just as Chenrezig has 6 ornaments, anklets, wristlets, armlets, earrings, crown, and a triple necklace. Likewise, we are adorned with the 6 perfections of patience, generosity, mindfulness, morality, insight, and virtuous zeal. Give perfection of generosity as pour light to each earthling. And now for 3 breaths, again, we're going to take all greed from each being as no smoke, and then give generosity as pour light. We scroll down. Insight's staircase of impermanence, come let us unwind into the vast expanse of infinite openness, which is much different than feeling tight and compressed, like when we're uptight and we're trying not to explode. How could each world and its beings blissfully melt into earth, living a wake of white, non-graspable openness, just like the construct in the Matrix. How could this neighborhood and its beings blissfully melt into this mind, leaving a wake of white, non-graspable openness? And yes, in Buddhist metaphysics, consider the mind as being at the heart. How could this mind blissfully melt into white, non-graspable openness. Remember, we're counting the mala with the left middle finger to access Trekcho's slice through, which is the heart throne of Bija. But in this case, we're using the word free, or the syllable free, because that is related more closely to the Buddha Chinrezig, who represents our enlightened potential. We're white, free, relaxing. Free, void. For the remainder of this third mala, I'll relax into the awareness of this. What to notice? Relaxing. This void. When you do your walking meditation, which is very good for you, I recommend you practice what notice? Relaxing for the first half, and this void for the second half. Everyone's got to die, even a bodhisattva. I pray to thee, protector, Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of transference. I pray to thee, protector, Amitabha, bless me that I may master the profound path of transference. Free this illusory aggregate grasp at self. Through meditation has become Chinrezig, the Yidam of great compassion. Rising upward from the heart is wisdom's central path on the crown of my head. In the open space of the land of great joy is Buddha Amitabha, best of guides. Surrounded by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, compassionate and loving. In the center of the open eight-petal lotus of the heart, my consciousness, like the egg of a mossel, but rests on a shimmering radiance. Now, count the mala with the left index finger to access Chogal's leap over. the crown throne of Bijaham. You'll notice in parentheses it says my, her, his, or their. Someday you may have the opportunity to practice this on behalf of the deceased. If you feel uncomfortable, you can always contact your teacher and practice it with him or her on behalf of the recently deceased. Some people practice on behalf of the deceased one day, every day for 49 consecutive days, but not everyone does that. Pay my mind, place I put in me comes down to with a hot mind of Amitabha. Pay my mind, place I put in me comes down to with a hot mind of Amitabha. Remember, we respirate, we read as we respirate, relax as we recite. Pay my mind, place I put in me comes down to with a hot mind of Amitabha. Now we whisper for the remaining 25 breaths. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. May my mind flies upward and becomes down to my heart, my double, me double. And now we prepare to conclude our practice with the Cho offering of one's body. There will come a time when we perish and our subtle mind leaves this body behind. We can use our imagination and jump forward to that point and offer our body and all our possessions to the well-being of all beings of all worlds. Are we Gandalf the Great? Are we some great magician? Can we really do that? Probably not, but we can intend it. And there is magic in the intention. And of course, count your mala on your left little finger. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities, wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. What? So there are virtuous qualities? Could they be our patience, generosity, mindfulness, morality, zeal, and insight? I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities, wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. I now give my body wealth and virtuous qualities, wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And we whisper, when I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities, wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. As always, on the in-breath, we respirate as we read. On the out-breath, we relax as we recite. I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my mothers. And I give my body wealth and virtuous qualities wholeheartedly to all beings who have been my my body above and virtuous qualities, hardly to obey, so I put my hands. And I get my body above and virtuous qualities, hardly to obey, so I put my hands. Let us coil our mala and perform the last 3 dedications of merit. May all the wishes we intend inspired by the teachings come true. Without hindrance may I ensure enormous benefit for all beings. Auspicious rebirth for me, auspicious rebirth for each neighbor, auspicious rebirth for each thing, auspicious rebirth for each being of each world. Meaningful life for each being, health, wealth, and success for each being, body, heart, and mind fulfillment for each being, great friendships for each being. Now we perform the recitation which communicates the essence of all vows, be they refuge, prati moksha, bodhisattva, or samaya. Dharma, enthusiasm for each being, ethical harmlessness for each being, sharing merit and kindness for each being, zealous guru, gratitude for each being. Spontaneous mindfulness for each being, compassionate, unwinding, and vast openness for each being, centered spontaneity for each being, joyful peace for each being. Now, we've generated a lot of strong energy. In Tibet, they call it lung. In China, they call it qi. In Japan, they call it ki. We don't want that qi or ki or lung getting stuck between our joints. So I recommend we do some Buddha bowing. If you don't have a Buddha bow, I've already explained in previous videos. If you want me to send you the link or create a new video, simply request that in the comment area below. I'm going to move the computer so that you can either A, follow along the Buddha bowings with me, or B, read along and just train yourself. If you do this for a month, if you recite this for a month, you will accidentally automatically memorize it. It's better to accidentally memorize something than to deliberately memorize something. Where deliberately memorizing something can make us get uptight, which is the opposite of relaxation. And we need to be relaxed if we were to accomplish the path. Tightening up is a hindrance on the path to enlightenment. So moving around now, I've just moved my Zafu, which you can order on the website through Amazon. I just moved my mandala kit, which is El Cheapo. And now I'm putting out a yoga mat just so that I don't bruise my knees, because I'm dainty and delicate that way. So am I on the camera? I appear to be on the camera. So what I'll be doing is doing the in-breath. My hands will go up and I'll actually arch up and look at the blue sky. This is great to do on your driveway. Then I'll touch my hands to the crown of my head, and then my forehead. I'll touch my fingers to my lips, and then to my sternum. And so I'll be doing that from up here. Then on the balls of my feet, I'll come down, touch my hands to the mat, my knees to the mat, my forehead to the mat. Then I'll reach forward, plant my elbows, come forward, reach forward, plant my elbows, hands come up, straighten the arms. You can see this. You can't. Okay, I'll adjust the camera. So let's adjust the camera again. Okay, so I'm down here. I've just squatted on the balls of my feet. My knees are touching the mat. My hands touch the mat. My forehead touches the mat. I reach forward, plant the elbows, come forward, touch the chest and the forehead. Reach forward, hands touch, hands come up. Hopefully you can see that. Straighten, hands go flat. Pull your hands back while lifting your shoulders. Still look down at the ground. It's really important for your back to do that. You don't want to strain your neck. So you're using your rectus spina, your longus dorsi, your back muscles to lift up. You lift your shins and then kind of hump the earth to come back up using your core muscles. Rock back and then roll back to your heels and then stand up. So we know what this looks like now, somewhat. Now I recommend counting your mala on your right ring fingers. This can really, really ground us down, which is important to be grounded after such an etheric practice. And here we go. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is emptied, it will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is empty, I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is empty, I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now, until samsara is empty, I'll bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now, until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now, until samsara is empty, I'll bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is empty, I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is empty, I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is empty, I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is empty, I bring about benefit and happiness for all, happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. I'm going to adjust my skirt so it doesn't fall off. Otherwise, I have to charge extra. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is empty, I'll bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is empty, I'll bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is empty, I'll bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is emptied, I would bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is empty, I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is empty, I bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is emptied, I'll bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. From now until I remember, don't make this a torturous thing. Relax during every recitation. Make this a meditation. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. From now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. And now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. And now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. And now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. And now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. And now until samsara is emptied, I'll bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. Now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, who embodies the three jewels. From now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Now until I reach the very heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in the Lama, our bodies of 3 jewels. And now until samsara is emptied, I will bring about benefit and happiness for all beings who have been my mothers. Okay, that was a quarter mala. So I'm going to jump in front of the computer one last time. This is me jumping. Okay, so we've just generated some more good karma. Even though we dedicated it to bringing about happiness for all beings, let's take the last good karma we just generated and apply it or guide it with this exercise. Spontaneous mindfulness for each being, compassionate and wanting and vast openness for each being, centered spontaneity for each being, joyful peace for each being. Spontaneous mindfulness for each being, compassionate and wanting and vast openness for each being, centered spontaneity for each being, joyful peace for each being. So I'm going to stop the sharing so you just see my face looming on the camera. It has been my experience that if we begin each meditation session with a 10 to 20 minute walk and conclude each meditation session with a 10 to 15 minute Buddha bowing session, it will be very good for not just our emotions and our mind, but our body and our cardiovascular systems as well. All right, so I'm going to remind people watching this on YouTube that if, once again, any questions you have, write them out in lurid detail in the comment area below. Also, below the video is a button that reads Show More, where you'll find all kinds of links to neat stuff, including an opportunity to sign up for the next series of weekly webinars. It's my intention to start a series of weekly webinars every 30 days. We'll see how that plays out. Okay, may you and yours be healthy and happy. That's all, folks.